It's almost kind of a free roll. In fact, don't they give you a bunch of spending money with that? So you probably could have if you wanted to.
Stefan Desetto, pocket threes.
Carmine said there would be one, and yet there are three.
It's a raise to 260,000. We're still at the 61-20 blind level for another 6 minutes. Neil Farrell has Jack 10 on the button. Aidan Dunn says, super stoked for more EPT Live coverage. Loving the cards up. Just to be clear, final tables have been cards up since 2012. That's not a new innovation. However, from tomorrow, when we switch to coverage of the EPT main event, that will be new, having cards up on preliminary days. So day 2, right through to day 6, the final table, cards up from the feature table every day. 3-bet from Neil, 625,000.
Yeah, it's not a typical 3-betting hand, but my guess is that he kind of wants to play this pot heads up in position.
When he gets 2 small aces to fold, Desetto is going to call out of position.
And these guys are deep enough to go to war. If Desetto happens to hit a set here, it could be real trouble for Farrell if he catches something.
Uh-oh. Well,
I did not mean for that to happen.
It's almost like you could see into the future. Top pair for Neil Farrell. A set of threes for Desetto. And how frustrated is Julian Fernandez right now? Ace-4 of clubs. If Farrell hadn't 3-bet, chances are he comes along for the ride and flops the nuts.
Wow, that becomes a 3-way car crash.
You check, Jeff. Yeah.
Probably would have been more helpful for Neil to have ace-4 of clubs in there from Fernandez, because with all the action that would have happened, maybe Neil could have got away from top pair a little easier. As it stands, unless Desetto way overplays this, Neil's going to lose at least a couple of bets.
Just a call from Desetto.
I think I'm more inclined to raise there on the 3-club board, but I don't think just calling is that bad.
So Farrell now drawing dead. Desetto has a lock on this.
Neil could be thinking now that whatever Desetto called flop with, he's probably also calling turn with. And he's opting for the extract value route.
Do you think Desetto now goes for a value raise?
I mean, this is a really, really small bet. Super small.
I'm gonna raise. I'm gonna raise.
We heard you.
Man, I just really want to give Neil credit for being able to get away from this now. I feel like the small bet. I know that you don't really bet for information, but I feel like Neil can get a lot of information from this. I think most amateur players, if they just have a big club, they're probably just going to call there. I don't know if Neil's trying to induce a raise from a player with, you know, say just the naked ace of clubs.
So it's a raise to 700,000, 400 on top of the 300 that Neil bet.
And Neil's reaching for chips, so I guess, yeah, that must be what Neil thinks. He must think that he can get a raise out of a big club by putting a small bet out there. Oh, that is a very, very, very terrible, no good, very bad card for Neil Farrell.
No good trips on the river for Neil Farrell. A full house now for Desetto. There's already 3.3 million in the middle. Remember, these two guys are the chip leaders. Desetto, the effective stack with 60 bigs behind.
Dosetto, he only flopped one Setto, but it's enough. How many times you want to check those cards, buddy? Well, looks like at least he knows he's got a value bet.
I thought he was actually thinking about checking and just trying to induce something from Neil. 1.4 million. The bet from Desetto.
Still relatively small, not even half the pot.
I don't think I can fold, but I'm very sad about it.
We're sad too, Neil.
I mean, he's not even beating
I'm very sad about it.
bigger jacks.
Farrell calls, sees the house, shows that he had a jack.
I should just fold. I'm the worst. Why am I so bad?
Have fun. Nice turn for me.
I should fold. I know I should fold. I don't do it.
This one will go viral at some point in the future. You just know that's a real stinker. And as Joe rightly said, good bet sizing at the end to get that extra squeeze of value out of the dream situation.
King Jack of Diamonds for Julian Fernandez. He was the guy who knocked out two players in the same hand. He's raised it here to 380k. Desetto with King Deuce of Clubs. Folds. It's Neil Farrell's big blind. And he has Ace 5 of Diamonds.
Oh. Splat, that was right, splatter chips there. Hello to everyone saying hello to me. Thanks for being with us again. Day 2. We haven't even started on the main event yet.
10-10-7, just one diamond on the flop. Farrell checks the pre-flop aggressor. Fernandez going to continue with King High. Yes, indeed. And as far as that main event is concerned, Matt, we mentioned that the numbers are looking good on day 1B. We kick off our coverage tomorrow, day 2, 12:30 Central European Time. We'll have a mixture of feature tables, probably 3 different feature tables over the course of the day as we go cards up for the first time before the final.
I know, exciting, isn't it? Everyone gets to be famous. Well, the guys that get caught doing something stupid will hate it, but the guys that did something amazing will be going, yep, gonna get the credit I deserve. Down the pub telling the story about how I bluffed him off. Now there'll be actual physical proof.
Well, Farrell was ahead on the flop. He's even more ahead now. Ace on the turn, having called the C-bet of 325,000 on the flop.
That's okay.
Fernandez is going to barrel. So Fernandez picked up a gut shot on the turn.
Yeah, I guess he was probably likely to just continue just in case the ace is a good card to rep rather than one to fear, and has picked up a bit more for his trouble.
Obviously, he is a 9-1 underdog right now. 775,000 into a pot of 1.57 million. Former EPT Not Live superfan Tuan gets in touch. Hey Matt and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Thursday is the day when we get to see EPT Not Live at EPT Live. Am I right? We're shooting it on Wednesday, so chances are it will air on Thursday, but maybe it'll have to wait till Friday. So, yes is the answer.
Yeah.
The plan is to show it during the tournament breaks on Thursday, but guarantee, not
yeah.
guarantee.
Hello, Turn, and yeah, on paper you're right, but in real life, let's just see.
My word.
Oh, did he just get there?
He just got there. He just hit a 4-outer. Queen on the river gives Fernandez the straight. Neil Farrell checks, and I assume he's checking to call another bet from Fernandez.
Oh, man. So now Julian Fernandez gets to take Neil down to Value Town.
Oh, come on. This will be pretty much 2 hands in a row. I mean, I know, strictly speaking, 2 out of 3, but
Yeah.
it's pretty grotesque. Because obviously, Neil's now chopping as well with so many aces.
Yeah. Yeah, he could see this, that his kicker problems have gone away and the ball could have helped him here.
I was trying to flick before card sword.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to say is that is a huge bet from Fernandez. That's more than 2/3 pot. And I do think that when a player like Fernandez bets huge on the river, he's probably got it a huge percentage of the time.
Come
You're
on,
watching
guys.
EPT Live.
Aren't you glad I made that joke? When life gives you lemons.
If only I could think of a sentence that squeezes the word pomegranate in. Leave it with me. It'll be
Don't
comedy
take it
gold.
for pomegranate.
Help.
I gotta leave the booth for a second. I gotta take a kiwi.
Well, your timing is bad because at least one of our 3 remaining players
Clangers.
has a quality hand here. The 9-10 suited, entirely playable.
We know Neil Farrell would play it.
So raising a call. We are going to go to a flop with over $1 million in the middle. Can Neil Farrell's kings get themselves into trouble? There's an... Oh, my Lord.
Don't say it, Matt.
I can't,
You can't
say.
You can't say that board. You'll get fired.
I can't say it. It's a
There are 3 8s on that flop
There's a double 8 and an 8.
and a third 8.
Wow. That's the luckiest flop I've seen all day. Look at Fernandez's face. Absolutely delighted to see that flop.
So what's this? The third nuts for Neil Farrell?
Well, 15 minutes have passed, so he's probably due the third nuts hand right now. His allowance. And of course he is gonna fire at this.
$888. Can we say that?
You can. A very casual call from Julian Fernandez. Gonna see how this develops. Oh,
Thank
man.
God the turn card didn't say party.
Oh, this is just... I mean, actually, credit to Julian. I mean, his face, literally no change whatsoever.
I mean, that's good. That's a good poker face, but this is real trouble for him, all jokes aside.
Yeah, you fill up and you think, oof, here we go. How do I profit from this? I just kind of came in for a very casual call on the flop. Let's just float this, see how things develop. His neck definitely not throbbing at all like a bouncy castle. Just keeping it cool, working it out.
He's breathing a little bit, but, you know, you have to.
You have to,
I've
otherwise you
heard,
die.
yeah, you got to breathe. One of those things.
It is very hard to win pots when you've actually passed away post-turn. So 1.8 million in the middle. Julian with his 8s full of 9s.
And I think Neil smooth calls this pretty much always.
Half pot, 550,000 from Fernandez. Would be stunned to find that he's only got 5% equity right now, considering his holding. And similar props to Neil Farrell's face, just kind of like, yeah, I just got to work this out.
Like he's trying to solve a mystery. Oh, it gives him an almost a click back.
Yeah.
So I guess I was wrong about that when I said I think he's going to be calling most of the time. Unless this is one of those rare occasions.
Well, you've got to mix it up, haven't you? You don't want to be predictable.
I mean, I guess he figures that if his opponent... Whoa, okay, he played this right.
Yeah, and he nearly hadn't managed to finish the word in before the call came through.
Well done, Neil Farrell. Clicks it back, manages to get his opponent to stick it in, drawing nearly dead. 5% equity.
One card to save Fernandez. I mean, this will be still huge for him.
I would have just never suspected that my opponent would go crazy with the worst hand here. But Neil read the situation right, and that's why he's there.
And not here.
Moment à faire parler ta chatte légendaire.
And vice versa.
Sorry.
2-9.
Moment.
Yes.
Going to have to be one of the 2 remaining 9s in the deck to save Julian Fernandez here. Otherwise, it's another massive pot for Neil Farrell. And that's the way it's going to be. It is 89,000 euros for 3rd place for Julian Fernandez. His first ever recorded cash. Back to the fruit and veg.
Starting at 9:15 this evening. JAPONAIS. Confirm. Registered.
Couple of big hands we missed while we were giving you some free money in the free roll. Neil Farrell raised ace-10. Desetto just called with king-jack. Both flop a pair. Desetto's check to the razor. Neil's betting second pair. Very strong heads up. Almost certainly going to be called by Desetto.
So a reminder that Neil was the pre-flop aggressor. And having continued flop, he gets check raised to 1.5 million, calls. And Desetto improves to 2 pair on the turn.
Not a great board for 2 pair. And still 1 card to come. Heads up, obviously, it's still pretty good. But you can't be super confident. And I do like a check and just check call here. Hope your opponent bets with worse, bluffs you.
I'm not sure Neil is going to bet, having been check raised on the flop. Checks behind, and full house for Desetto on the river.
And I think that Neil's not going to put another chip in here.
Question is if Desetto makes a value bet, whether he pays it off with a 10.
I don't think he'll pay. If he makes another... I mean, Neil even got away from a very tiny value bet before with a similar hand. Like, what are the worst hands that Desetto is going to be check raising the flop with? Draws, right? Yeah, just an insta-muck from Neil Farrell.
He has a little bit better hand than me every hand.
Yeah, and that's something that two.
In Monaco, right?
That's true. I don't know how many hours you would need to make it last.
I don't know what the value. How much is the value of the poker tournament? I know the red board is €9, so.
Kevin asks what hand are they on? Had to run out when they went 3-handed. This is hand 145, approximately the 112th hand of heads-up play.
Nice. Pocket 7s for Desetto.
Neil Farrell hovering around the 10 big blind mark at the moment.
You just score? No.
No,
Okay.
it's a raise to 1.5 million.
What? Why would you raise that much?
Oh, ace-jack for Farrell.
Oh, this is the end. There's no way if I do anything else.
Very doomsday. Oh, this is the end.
Oh, this is the hand. The hand they're going all in. Not
It is
necessarily the end.
A key hand, and it's
Not
a key
necessarily
race.
the end.
And it's a race that Neil Farrell needs to win. Ace-jack against sevens, his overcards need to hit. If sevens hold, Stefan Desetto has won the FPS main event.
Les 7 chez moi, se valer chez lui. Les 7 chez moi, As valet chez lui.
I'm gonna lose to a guy.
Les 7 chez moi,
Seven.
As valet chez
Pocket
lui.
sevens.
Dos Seto has 2 sevens.
yeah.
Two sevens.
Yeah. It's your hand.
This could be a race that decides the winner of this 1K tournament.
Oh.
Oh, it is always coming 7!
Oh putain, si tu gagnes,
Oui, le 7.
He hasn't won yet though. That'll be pretty sick.
Well, exactly. You got to be careful how big you celebrate when there's still 2% to be dodged.
Yeah. If he was 5-7, 5-6-7, I guess it's okay.
Very likely that
No
Neil
queen, no
Farrell will be
10, man.
drawing dead on the turn. Needs running cards now.
It's a queen or 10. Oh.
Yeah, just for a bit of a sweat through.
Are we going to get a sweat on the turn or will it be over? It's not over.
Oh, one time.
We had a sweat.
Oh man, we feel so
Neil
good.
Farrell picks up the gut shot and he can still survive and double up with a queen on the river.
That feels the best actually when you like when I suck it out like that, especially after the guy celebrated. Oh man.
Nearly 10 million in the middle up for grabs if he can pull this miracle.
I said days are hard.
Yeah, it's like it's halfway done actually. You had to get perfect like 10 or queen 10 and you already got like 10, so
4 outs for Neil Farrell. Needs to hit on the river or we have a champion here in Monaco.
for us it's a lot, man. A lot
The
more
river
forward,
cards a 3
especially-
and that'll do it. A Frenchman wins the France Poker Series Monaco main event. Neil Farrell, the EPT 12 champion.